We'll start with Mrs. Kusi for 6 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you to our witnesses for being here today. Out of the hundreds of millions spent in the Environment Department's grants and contributions program, how much has Treasury Board approved, please?
So every time that there is a new program, the department must come to Treasury Board for review and approval. So every time it's a new program, terms and conditions, they have to come. So I would say it would depend what calendar fiscal year you're referring to. But again, that's the principle, and that's the process that we are applying every time, not only for ECCC, but for all organizations across the Government of Canada.
Okay, so Treasury Board would have approved the funds for this program on a fiscal year-by-year basis. Is that correct?
It depends. If it is funding for ongoing program, it will have been approved once at Treasury Board. But after that, as you know, because this committee is quite involved with the estimates, every time they will have to come and present their new funding via an estimate.
Has your department ever reviewed the program to ensure that funds were going to recipients that had clear plans to improve environmental protections?
So this responsibility, as I stated in my opening remarks, belong to the DPLI heads. So the DPLI heads will have the opportunity to request internal audit to look into that, and that's exactly what ECCC requested the Deputy Minister, because he had some concerns. So he wanted to have a third-party review or a independent assessment from his internal audit function.
The report states that the top ADM committee evaluates proposals deemed to be medium to high risk that exceed $100,000. However, 94% of the reviewed files in this audit did not have the right documentation to support the risk rating. Are you concerned at all about departments not doing their due diligence to ensure that funds are spent appropriately?
I am always concerned by the lack of documentation. So that's why under my group, we have what we call a center of expertise that Nicole leads. And we always remind departments that every time that there is a money going out the door, as per the Financial Administration Act, Section 32, 33, and 34, that the due diligence should be done at all levels.
Since 2016, there have been 3,103 grants and contributions awarded over $100,000. How many of these have been reviewed by the Treasury Board?
Is your question specific to ECCC?
Yes, because it would be the 3,103 grants and contributions awarded over $100K within the program.
So we do not review those programs. Like I was saying, DPLI heads are responsible for their own programs. And if they feel that there is a concern or they want to make sure that everything is effective, they will be asking their internal audit function to look into this according to the risk of the grant or of the contribution or the program itself.
The problems in the ECCC grants and contributions have been ongoing since 2016 when the minister moved from small to large-scale program delivery. The decentralized structure and limited resources were strained, which has led to potential legal and reputational damage. Has the Treasury Board done any follow-up to ensure the funds provided to this program were allocated correctly?
We have not done any specific audit regarding what you just mentioned. Again, it will be at the Deputy Minister level to look at those instances.
Are you concerned about the lack of accountability and oversight in this program?
So we are all concerned. So that's why an audit was requested by the Deputy Minister to look into that. And as well, maybe I should have mentioned my role in terms of the risk-based audit plan that all departments put together every year. Those audit plans are shared with my office for review and to make sure that we are comfortable with the risk identified and also the way forward in terms of auditing and evaluating.
Do you believe that the Environment Department has ever wasted taxpayers' money?
That's not a question that I can answer.
Okay. Do you believe the Environment Department always delivered value for money to taxpayers?
So the policy on transfer payment is clear in terms of value for money. And like I said, I will expect all deputy ministers to play their role in terms of ensuring that they are following the policy as well as the directive and also the guideline.
In your opinion, do you believe all departments should be auditing all grants and contributions?
It would depend. It would depend which organization. It would depend the value of grants and contributions. It will depend also about other risks that departments may have. And obviously, we cannot audit everything. So again, it will be a question of considering all the potential risk, the risk mitigation strategies that departments have into place, and what's left that we feel that should be looked at.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Mrs. Kusi. Mr. Shawari, please.
Would you say that the Treasury Board President has been able to give this audit her full attention?
So I am responsible for the internal audit function within the Government of Canada.
But the Treasury Board President herself, would you say she's been available and present to give this audit her full attention?
So usually those internal audits will be the responsibility of the deputy minister.
But certainly the deputy minister interacts with the president of the Treasury Board regarding these important issues such as the spending of taxpayer dollars. Would you say that the Treasury Board president has been less available, less access? Have you had less access to her lately?
No, I would not say she was less available for that kind of challenges or that kind of reports. I am responsible again for the internal audit function. This is up to me.
Well, it's the Treasury Board President who is ultimately responsible. And as I'm sure you're aware, she's taken on another ministry. And so it's just very concerning to me that she's being spread too thin. She's not able to give this audit her full attention, the oversight of taxpayer dollars, her full attention. We kind of have a part-time president of the Treasury Board right now, given that she's managing these two files. I certainly was shadow minister for transport during the pandemic, and I can tell you that this is a very taxing file when you're overseeing all of the airlines, the train travel, especially now the shortcomings that we've seen with our critical supply chains. And so I'm very concerned that this evidence we are receiving through this report indicates that we have a minister, a president of the Treasury Board, who is not able to give her entire attention to the oversight of taxpayer dollars. What would you say to that, please?
I am not concerned. I meet with the president every week because, as you mentioned, she's the president of the Treasury Board. They meet every Thursday morning, and before every meeting, we have a briefing with her, and we have her full attention, and we have great discussions about the files that will be presented on a Thursday morning.
But it would be impossible to have her full attention because she's giving half of her attention currently to the transport file. Now, I know in 2019, you issued, the Treasury Board issued the further guidelines, and yet we're still getting these lapses we're seeing here through the ECCC audit. You know, a couple of months ago, we received feedback that Global Affairs Canada, through their audit, was also having some problem with the oversight of the distribution of funds. And so I really have to take it again back to the president of the Treasury Board. And so I'm just asking if you believe she's giving her full attention to the oversight of these grants and contributions, if she's been as accessible to you. And I just believe that it would be very difficult for her to achieve this, her to do this, given that, frankly, how thin she's being spread over departments. And as I said, we really seem to have a part-time president right now, given this additional duties that she's been given. So given that we have these lapses through ECC, Global Affairs Canada, despite your issuing of the guidelines in 2019, I'll ask you one more time. Do you really believe that Canadians are getting value for money, that taxpayers are getting value for money?
From my perspective, I have access to the president when I need to, and she is extremely accessible for all the files that I am in charge of.
Right. Again, it's unfortunate because the results that we are seeing through, thank goodness, these audits are indicating that the oversight simply is not there at this time. As I mentioned, she was the president of the Treasury Board, now taken on the Ministry of Transport, which is a very intense file. And then, of course, given the difficult situation of the Prime Minister and the Liberal Party at this time, I'm concerned her efforts are even further diluted by the possibility of her posing a leadership campaign as well. So, I mean, this is really a president of a Treasury Board who is supposed to have oversight of all the funds of our nation, whose energy is divided, not one way. Running one department, I imagine, would be completely consuming, but is also responsible for the Department of Transport at the same time as possibly posing a leadership bid. It's quite concerning, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much.